Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of your least favorite Formula One podcast. I'm Matthew. I've got my homie Jackson to my right. Jackson, what's going on?
Life, man, and I am not Sam.
The pursuit of happiness.
Yep, the pursuit of happiness.
Isaac.
Yes, sir.
You're not Sam either.
No, definitely not Sam.
And everyone's favorite
Or least favorite.
or least favorite part of the podcast, Sam.
I'm Sam. You're a bitch.
I want to start off this episode with recognizing our setup here, and I'm not referring to everything around us. I'm more so referring to Sam's fucking chair,
The banana hammock.
the banana hammock himself.
Fucking chair, dude. Great for camping. Great for other things.
All right, let's...
Speaking of other things,
Yeah. So we've got Mexico this week. We had a great race last week in Austin, which we'll get back to. But I want to talk Mexico. I want to talk your guys' thoughts going into the week, some of the things we've seen. Let's start with Sam. Sam, what are you excited for this week?
Racing.
Okay.
Nice.
Jackson, what about you?
Probably enchiladas.
And Isaac?
Some margaritas.
No, honestly, I think everyone here collectively, no matter how much I hate Red Bull, I think we want to see Checo do well.
I definitely don't want to see him crash on the first
No,
corner
we don't need
of
that.
the
No.
first lap again.
We don't need that.
Nobody,
we don't need that.
He definitely doesn't need it
No.
because Checo might not be joining us again. After
Yeah, I was
that.
going to say, do we think this is the last Mexico race for our boy Czech?
I think Checo goes to good old Sauber at the end of this year.
You really think so?
So who do you think
chance.
takes that RB seat?
I wouldn't be surprised if they threw a dude like Liam Lawson in there.
Ugh.
Bring back.
But I've also read.
D-Rix.
I gotta throw this out there. I've read that Oscar Piastri and Red Bull are
Yes,
supposedly
that
in
was
talks.
big news today.
Oh.
That came
Is
out
that
today.
accurate?
That's
I don't
fresh
know.
across the wire.
don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
12 hours
Call me
ago.
the Adam Schefter, or the Adam Schefter of the Formula One
Call me the
community.
Shams Sharania.
Yeah, Shams is the man. Shout out to Shams.
Wojnarowski.
Woj is gone.
Oh, yeah. Rip
Now
Woj.
Shams took his spot.
Do we think Liam is the best fit, or do you think it's just doing that because it's within the Red Bull pipeline?
I don't like Liam.
I think
don't
Liam's
he's
going to be in that Red Bull seat eventually, maybe a year or two, probably 2 years from now. Because let's be honest, the kid's already outperforming Yuki this year, in my opinion. And he's been in one race?
Yeah.
And he already looks better. I'm not trying to say Yuki's not good. Yuki's great, but
I just think he needs that development time before he
Yeah.
takes that seat.
Yuki needs the development.
Well, we know he
Both.
needs the development.
And it's
but
also a killer when you have to race with Max.
Well,
Every
that's
single one of his teammates has just been
Not a
beaten
fan.
down.
you have to be prepared to give up a lot of race wins, give up a lot of podiums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just have to. It's like we've talked about in the past about there's a number one and there's a number two.
Yeah.
And the teams that do it well and are able to, like, draw a line in the sand, they can be successful. The teams that don't, they end up costing maybe a driver's championship, like we've seen with McLaren this year, where they
Yeah.
didn't do it soon enough.
Max needs a Bottas to his Hamilton
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Dude, I've heard people talk about Bottas going there. And I've also seen them talking about Bottas being like a reserve driver for Mercedes.
I saw that too. He said he'd love to go back there.
I mean,
I could see him
honestly,
being a reserve driver because, I mean, I'm not trying to rip on Kimi, but the dude has raced like, 7 laps?
yeah, he's very young.
And he crashed on like the third one.
Yeah.
They say he's going to be the menace of the generation, though.
I think he's going to be great. I just think throwing him right into a Mercedes is dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
with freaking George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a terrorist, man. He's crashing into people. Dude, he's crashing into
Shout
people.
out Rocket Powered Mohawk.
No,
Crashing into people. He's fucking up the car every time.
yeah.
The problem with that is they never do it. You didn't even see Max get thrown straight into Red Bull. I mean, it happened like pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
But you don't throw a guy into a car that most people can't handle. And it's not even that. It's your competition. Imagine going into the last race of the season and you look at the little stat sheet and it goes George Russell race finishes 23, Kimi Antonelli 0. I'd go, this sucks.
Oh God, I'd be so disappointed.
Like that's just a mood killer. That's a confidence killer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like how are you supposed to come back into the next season like feeling good about
Exactly.
trying to race well when you see all of those numbers and you're like, the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
your
he's
team
young as
prioritizes
hell.
him.
Yeah.
He's young as hell. I don't think it. I'm not worried about it from the Mercedes fan. As a Mercedes fan, I'm not too worried about it. But obviously, I think there's going to be some growing pains. But it could be someone that's like you come into F1, like people freaked out when McLaren brought Oscar in and brought Lando. And it's like you have two super young drivers. Obviously, George is a little bit older now, but it may be good. It may be good for the sport. It's going to bring a lot of new fans in. So
I think this
hopefully
next year's
that's
rookie class will be
exciting.
pretty awesome.
Way better.
Guys, we're going to do a new thing for this week for Mexico. Stinks or slaps. I want you guys to tell me if the race is going to stink or if it's going to slap. And tell me why. Give me a brief why. Sam, you're up.
I think it's going to slap, and I think it's because we're going to see a McLaren-Ferrari fight for the win.
Okay?
I'm with Sam on that. I think it's going to slap just because of, I think Lando with battling in this past week in Austin and then them, like him getting that penalty, like he is a big competitor. He has that competitive edge. So I think he's going to want to come back this week, shove it, and like try to compete and kind of earn back those points in that position.
Okay? I think it's going to stink. I think quali will be good, but I think the race will stink.
Wow.
Expand.
I think it'll stink just because it doesn't really feel like with the altitude and the change in the aerodynamics that McLaren is really going to be close with anyone else. I think there's going to be a big gap. I think there's going to be a big gap.
His
What are you guys doing?
Sam's
Squeaked and it sounded like a fart.
Sam's birthing chair over there is freaking everyone out.
Is it my birthing chair?
Yeah, your birthing chair. So I think
That makes sense.
it slaps. I think we see a few safety cars. That's my opinion.
Dude, last week was the first safety car in a
I
while.
think we're due for it now. Everyone's like, hell yeah. Lance Stroll didn't cause it last week. That brother's itching. He is itching.
Lance Stroll, Magnussen crash turn one.
Yep.
I would
Honestly,
like-
he may just go into the wall himself. He may just
fuck
say,
it.
I sacrificed myself for Aston Martin and just go straight into the wall.
I'm
I
surprised.
volunteer.
He said, I want work for Newey this year, or a ton of work for Newey heading into next year. So he's just going to start wrecking the car now so then they don't have as much data to move on to next year with. That's my opinion. I think it's going to be a good race.
I saw a meme about Williams where they were going to lay off a bunch of the mechanics because Logan isn't there to wreck the car. They have no work on a week-to-week basis.
Well,
Bunch of
here's
guys
an
just
idea.
sitting around on their
Maybe
hands.
they rehire for, I don't know, maybe research or anything else. Or maybe, why don't we hire like a sponsorship coordinator? They could go out, get like local shops throughout London and maybe give them a few sponsorships. Yeah. Maybe some like deli shops, meats and cheeses. Yeah. We could see Williams shoot up the ranks with that because right now they just don't have the money.
I have to say this. Williams did release 109 million shares of Williams Holdings Grand Prix. I am a proud owner of Williams Holdings Grand Prix. €1 gets you one share.
Is that for, are you
so
for
is
real?
this a
You can own them, yeah.
You bought?
No, I think you can only buy them in England, but I'll try.
I was
Got me
going to say,
kind of hyped.
I was
Honestly,
gonna say,
we were all
I
going
know
to go.
you can. I'm pretty sure you can look it up. It's on something, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm not putting my money on Duracell, but it's up to y'all.
Jackson's
Duracell's
more of an
reliable.
Energizer
Duracell
guy.
or Energizer?
Weirdo, man. Weirdo.
One's got a
we
bunny,
trusted
one's-
Duracell batteries yesterday.
Yeah, and they crapped out an hour into a different podcast.
I wanted
Let's
you to
not
say
get a
that.
cease and desist here, guys.
Bring it, Duracell.
All right.
We're
Last-
an Energizer podcast. Those right there, powered by Energizer. Definitely not an outlet.
Not
Beautiful.
a wall outlet.
Beautiful.
All right, last thing I want to do on Mexico for you guys is some fast facts.
Okay.
Who do you think has the fastest lap in Mexico?
Sergio.
It's a current
Bottas.
driver. Correct. Bottas in 2021 set the record with 1:17.774.
That was got to be in quali, right?
Yeah. The first Mexican Grand Prix was in 1963. The track is over 2 kilometers above sea
Same
level.
track from the beginning?
No, a little bit different. The track is over 2 kilometers above sea level elevation. Obviously, everyone knows that Mexico City is way the hell up in the air. The longest or the most amount of wins at this track, another current driver. Anyone guess?
I'm going to have to go with Hamilton.
I think it's at Team LH.
Or it's Verstappen. It's one of those two.
You're with Max and his sombrero.
It's Max. Max has won 5 times. Lewis has only won
Jeez.
twice here.
Really?
Yeah, Mercedes has struggled here in the past from things that I've looked at. Even Nico talks about it. He was like, dude, it's hard at altitude. And then the last one for you is the highest recorded speed in an F1 car during a race was here, 2016, Valtteri.
How fast?
231 miles an hour.
Damn.
That's nothing.
This should be
Your
the,
Jeep is pushing that easy.
if Monza's the temple of speed, what do we make this place?
The Nacho Libre of speed. I don't know.
Great segue.
Yeah,
Great
that's
segue.
what we needed. That's
All
what
right,
we needed.
let's step back really fast. Let's talk about Austin from last week. Obviously, a lot of controversy with the boys up front, Lando and Max. A lot of stuff going on there. You guys want to unpack that? Who wants to go first?
Tifosi's back, bitches.
Are they though?
Buying the red stock.
Hell yeah, until next week.
And then where are they going after that?
Sam's buying high and selling
7,
low.
8, 9, 7, 8.
I could see
No
that.
in between.
There,
Like
there
a
is no in
smooth
between.
points finish, but nothing more.
Yeah,
Nothing
and
less.
honestly,
Or DNF, because for some reason Charles loves to like crash into walls at this time of year for some reason.
Yeah, I do agree though. I think they've gotten more consistent since Bonotto's left, but it seems like still we're just all over the place.
Jackson loves to shit on Bonotto, man.
Dude, I love Mattia Bonotto. He's a funny dude. His episode, if y'all haven't ever, we don't love Drive to Survive on here, but there's that episode where him and Gunter go out to the countryside and make love and do their things. But
In a Fiat 500.
yeah, in a Fiat 500. Shout out Enterprise.
Shout out Luigi.
But I think I did like I just feel like when Bonotto was there, it was just kind of all over the place. I feel like we've kind of calmed down now,
Yeah.
and we're heading in the right direction. I think, as the Tifosi fans would think. But
Bonotto is the perfect leader for Sauber Audi coming up because like sometimes it's good to have chaos. Like if you're not finishing well, it's not the worst thing in the world to go, you know what? We might have crashed both our cars on lap 6, but we got screen time, and that's good
Yep.
good press, you know?
Yeah.
Who
Good
doesn't
point.
want to buy an Audi that just crashed
I think,
twice?
and my thing is, I think that is true.
It's like when the cat crashed his Genesis, and then
Yeah.
they started selling Genesis. It was crazy.
yeah, all
Brother
the single
drove
moms,
off a cliff and he lived,
Yeah.
and they're like,
See?
"Cool, I'm
Yeah.
gonna buy a Genesis."
single moms, Perkins workers, everyone just after the Genesis. I don't know. I think that Mattia is a good number 2. I just don't know if he is the best person to be a constructor or to be the team principal. I mean,
Yeah.
He's physically
yeah, he's
constructing
constructing.
Audis.
He's constructing.
Ship him over to Germany to construct the Audis.
Yeah,
dude.
dude, put him on the factory. No, I don't know. We love Mattia, but I can't get over the way things went last time. But we'll see.
I think Freddie is very Vasseur.
Oh, interesting.
We should call him Frederick. When he starts doing good
Frederick.
things, we call him Sir
Yeah,
Frederick.
Sir Frederick Monsieur.
Oh God, Ocon and Gasly are gonna come after you right now.
Bring it.
Bring it.
Dude.
Jackson's
I've never
not
been
scared.
afraid of Ocon once.
Isaac,
in my
what do you
life.
think about this Lando Max debacle?
I don't know. I think
You think the penalty was warranted?
it was warranted, but I think as everybody behind the scenes that's in Lando's ear should have told him to give the spot back because you have one lap and you're catching him and you're back in the same position and you might have a better opportunity and you don't get a penalty. So I think in the grand scheme of it, just give it up. You're a good enough driver. Believe in yourself. You're on the biggest stage in the world.
You gotta believe.
Yeah. But I was like, I kind of get it too, though, because the day before, Piastri did the same thing. And he got the penalty, but he was on the inside. So I feel like Lando, probably those guys are very smart athletes, was like, Piastri got it yesterday for being on the inside. I'll be fine going on the outside, and backfired. So that's my look on it.
Okay, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about the apex conversation, that side of it all the time. The bigger thing for me with that situation was I feel like McLaren should have just been like, hey, just give him the place back. We're going to cover our ass. Then if a penalty does come in, then we're fine. Because he would have passed him on the next lap. So by him waiting and doing what he did, I think it just screwed him. And obviously then he gets track limits and everything else follows that. Yeah. So then that affects his placement as well. But I think the bigger thing there for me was like, hey, we need some sort of like, I don't know. I feel like common sense kind of went out the window there. And obviously it's like, yeah, we're trying to chase the highest we can get. Why would we give the place back? Because they thought they were in the clear. Lando thought he was in the clear. I mean, he thought Max pushed him off. He thought Max was going to get a penalty. So I understand that. But I think to cover their own ass, it would have just been smarter to just give him the place.
It was surprising that, I mean, we've seen it dozens and dozens of times. Very similar situation. They're like, just give it back so at least they can't penalize us like, at the end of the race.
Yeah.
It was a bit strange. It feels like the week after Abu Dhabi, we're going to be sitting here talking about the year, looking at why Lando didn't win the Drivers' Championship, and it's going to be like one of maybe 6 or 7 reasons.
I'm going to agree. Building off of what Matt, and Jack said, I'm going to have to agree. I think the consistency is probably the biggest problem for me, because I think it was a penalty for Lando. I'll agree with that. He wasn't ahead at the apex, depending on where you define the apex. But if you don't call it the same way every time, it just shows that you're favoriting one driver. Yeah. And this week, I think it looks like they were favoriting Max. I'm not saying they always do. Sometimes they screw Max. But, man, they need to have some stewards that can bring some consistency and no bias to the sport. And for the apexes, I'm going to go back to it. I think they need to draw a line on those turns. It can be a thin red line, but you can zoom in and you can go, see, this is where the apex is. You can finally see who's ahead.
Yeah.
And it'll be so easy, because then if the stewards change it, you can go, okay, well, he's clearly a biased steward. Let's get rid of him and try someone new. It's an easy problem. It's an easy fix. I just wish that they had me at the helm. I could help them get it done.
In your banana hammock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, building
On the
off
back
of
it just says, I'm Sam.
Yeah, and building off of what Dr. Eggman said over there in the birthing chair, I think that we've had problems with FIA, and I don't know. For me, I don't think any of us here love the FIA, but I just think we just need more consistency. It's like we have black and white rules, like we've touched on before. Obviously, it's essentially the race director, and they have final say, which I think is an issue. But, I mean, it's like any sport. There's tons of calls that aren't made in basketball games, football games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult.
It gives us something to talk about.
That's true.
My only problem with that is I do agree with you, what Jack said, about the racing and stuff like that, and football games and basketball games, for a great example, is sometimes they do miss calls like that. The only problem for me is the FIA directly influenced the finishing of a race by giving him a penalty, because Lando, when he got ahead, he just started running away with it.
Yeah.
In basketball, if you miss a call, at least, maybe there's a chance the guy hits a corner 3 or something crazy, or in football, a guy throws a Hail Mary, baseball dude hits a grand slam, soccer dude scores a penalty.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Obviously, don't want to harp on it any more than it's already been harped on, but Abu Dhabi was a perfect example of that. It was another example on a bigger scale of, all right, our race director has final say. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Fuck you, Michael Masi. But I think it's just there's something there that is just kind of rubs everyone the wrong way.
Takes away a chance at victory. That's my problem. At least in other sports, you have a chance. This one, you just don't.
Okay, so let's put on our tinfoil hat. Say they're scripting it. I'm not saying that we're saying that, you're saying that, anybody. But
Like the NFL?
Hypothetically.
Yeah, like the NFL. Like Swiftie Nation.
Yes.
Go Chiefs.
So let's say that they are trying to script it. It wouldn't even make sense to me that they would favor Max this early, because wouldn't the goal be to get it to Abu Dhabi again?
No.
And essentially what they just did, we've talked about this for the last month, of basically from Monaco out, honestly. I know it's a long time ago now, but like literally from let's say Monza. From Monza, Lando needed to just chip away race by race. And if he didn't one single race, it was over.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's
out of the
over.
picture.
But it's like that fine line.
It's still going to be made exciting, but
I agree. It's like
over.
that fine line of what do they want? What does that race director want at this time? Because there's been calls this season that have favored Lando over Max. We've seen it.
1,000%, yeah.
Max gets hit with like a 10-second penalty in a race where they crash. I think he earned that one, but you get what I'm saying. They call the penalties both ways. It just depends on the race director, and I think that's what needs to get fixed. You need to have a group of people that need to come to like a unanimous decision on these outcomes. Otherwise, I think you need to start going, okay, if this is an apex issue, pull out the AI. Because you can't have races influenced. I mean, Abu Dhabi is the greatest example. Rules were broken because of a race director that was like, this will be great. And that dude's a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's fired, and hopefully he's retired in like some cardboard box on the side of the road or something.
No, he's back.
Insert clip.
He's back, though. He's working the FIA again.
He's just not race director?
I don't believe he's race director, but I believe Michael Massey's back in F1.
So he blackmailed somebody to get back.
I don't know what happened, but I believe he's back.
Did you see him?
He was at one of the races earlier this year.
Really?
Yeah.
No diddy.
He was talking to Horner, if I remember the thing. Yeah, no diddy. But, yeah,
Okay.
Interesting.
we'll fact check that.
I was a little bit worried about halfway through it was going to be a stinker of a race, and the ending turned out to be good minus the whole penalty controversy. But again, without it, we wouldn't be sitting here having something to talk about. So.
I feel like we're kind of overshadowing something. We got to talk about just how insanely good Ferrari was. We haven't talked about him at all.
That's
That
a
was
shame. You're right.
unbelievable.
You're right. Hand up. That's a shame.
Unbelievable.
It was
for them.
It was very surprising, but not after like quali. It was kind of like, oh, they might do something
They have a
nasty.
shot here.
Yeah.
And
It
then
looked
obviously the start was crazy. Like
Yeah.
I said, one of
Yeah.
our favorite corners of the year.
No major upgrades either. Just
Yeah.
that little front wing, but good on them. Hopefully
Paid
they're
off.
back. I would be A-okay if Ferrari made a crazy push into next year. You have a Lewis Charles just boom 1-2 the whole year.
Just tearing shit up.
Yeah, just crashing into each other, fighting for wins.
Max
Be awesome.
yelling on the radio
Yeah.
every week. Jackson would be so happy.
Oh,
Max will be doing a lot of community service.
Yeah, a lot of community service.
We would be
Dumbest
doing a lot
thing.
of community service too.
hold the mark
Jeez.
on my- I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Dude, he would be the one
Oh,
to
he
do that.
totally would be. Throw a
Yeah.
tantrum.
Yeah.
He would just watch his language and he'd be fine.
I think we need to get into our predictions though for this week.
I agree.
Austin was cool.
Yeah.
It was sad not seeing our boy D Rick, but it's done and over with. Well, no, not the last one. We got Vegas still. I was gonna say the last US, but it's not the last one. I would say this is Austin's probably one of the better chances on the calendar to go to a race, like cost wise,
Oh, yeah.
view, like crazy good views.
Yeah.
I think I saw something where you could go on the big tower thing for like 15 minutes. It was like $50 or $60.
Yeah. No.
If it's a race you want to go to, it's by far the most affordable race
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah,
And
especially in
and
the
there's
States.
a reason for it. There's
Yeah.
a reason why 400,000 people go every year.
Yeah,
Which is, honest to God, it's awesome because you have people
great
from
for
the
the
States,
sport.
you got people from Canada even, and you have people coming up from Mexico because it's so close. It's literally you're getting 3 countries going to one race.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's the perfect time.
that would be a cool idea. We get an RV, we fly to Austin, rent an RV next year, and then we go to the Austin race. We drive down to Mexico City, go to that race, and then drive down to Brazil and go to that race. That would
His
be
brother
sick.
thinks we're going to get an RV and drive it through the middle of Mexico.
Yeah.
We just
Have you-
need some sponsors.
What's the movie
and-
I'm
and
thinking
some-
of?
We're
We're the Millers.
We're
I'd
the
be like, we're the
Millers.
Millers.
We'll just post that on the side
Wasn't
of the
that,
van.
wasn't that the one where that tarantula bit his balls? Or something?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That is the one.
Oh,
Great
God.
movie.
Sam,
All right.
you're that guy.
All right, I got to reel us in.
Podiums.
Yes,
1, 2, and 3.
let's
Sam.
do our
Oof.
predictions for Mexico.
I'm gonna go. I think McLaren bounces back quite a bit. And I think I'm gonna go Lando, Charles. Give me Max.
Okay.
I don't think you have a constructor on the podium.
I'm actually going the exact same as Sam.
Very creative.
Come on, switch it
Just-
up, man.
No, it's
Valtteri Bottas, Franco,
Yeah.
and Albon.
We'll
Our
put
boy
that.
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank Beef Hot Dogs.
Frank Hot Dog. No, I'm with Sam though. Those are all like, I don't want to say like reasonable picks, but they're realistic picks of guys that are going to be able to compete, and I feel like they're going to do well in qualifying, and then hopefully Lando doesn't get bogged down off the line like he tends to do.
He did pretty good this week, but
Yeah, this
normally
week
he's
was
good
act-
at shit in the bed.
Yeah.
He did
So-
great and still blew it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
that's
That is
tough,
true.
I don't understand it.
dude.
Track limits are a bitch, man. Those
Yeah.
sausage curbs.
Sausage.
I'm gonna go Ferrari, but I think they would favor Charles. So I'll go 1-2 Ferrari again, same as this week, and then Lando third.
Blasphemy.
Interesting. So I'm gonna go a little crazy here because no one else has done it. I think that Charles wins. I think that Max comes in second, and I think we see a little sneaky Sergio Perez into the third spot.
Okay.
That brother's coming with the energy.
Yeah.
He's fired up. He's got all the fans in the world there for him.
You
I think
realize
it's his
To
time.
finish on the podium, you have to finish the race, right?
I know that. So that's my if he finishes the race,
Okay.
You're at.
he's
you
in the
have him
third
in
spot.
third.
He's in the third spot.
I got to ask this. I think this is going to be a little bit of a sneaky thing. Who do we think is going to have the best race from not the top 4? I think you're going to see a dude like Pierre Gasly get a top 6 this week.
Interesting.
It'll be
think
him
Alpine
before
comes
it'll
out
be
balling.
Ocon. No,
Yeah.
it won't be Ocon. It'll be Gasly.
I think he gets a top 6 this week.
Ocon stinks. I want to put that in print right now.
S to shit.
Yeah,
That's
S
the
to
shit.
shit.
That's the shit.
Amen to that, brother. I like Gasly. I think Yuki has a good race.
Think he finishes
Okay.
in the points?
I think he'll go. Yeah, I think he'll finish 10th.
I like it.
A sneaky
Kind of a little
backdoor
bounce back.
points.
Yeah.
What about you?
Bounce back.
I'll go Lewis.
Yeah, he could use a good race after
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
week.
brother needs
After
it.
last week, I think he's going to be like, okay, I don't need to win. I just need to not fucking lose.
Yeah, we need some
Think like a top-
points.
think like a top
We need
6
some
That,
points.
that was a very un-Lewis thing
Yeah,
last
I
week.
feel
Yeah.
like he'll probably be 7, 8, maybe 6 if he's
I like
really
that.
feeling good, especially just coming off of this past week.
Especially with Mercedes always struggling at this track. It'd
Yeah.
be pretty good to finish that high in the points.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not of him to do it. It just would have to be a good week for him.
Okay.
I like it.
I think Frank Beef Hot Dogs does well this weekend.
A
Boy,
pointer?
Franco.
I think he gets points. I think he
Franco
probably
Cole
finishes around the
does
7 spot, 8 spot.
Polo Bingo.
I think he's coming into his own. I hope to God he's got a seat next year, but
From what I've read, James Vowles is pushing hard at Sauber to get him in that seat.
dude,
And
I mean,
I've also read that he might be the reserve driver for Mercedes as well.
Beef Hot Dogs.
Beef hot dogs.
I've read that they've been
Dude,
looking
I'm
at
Beef
him.
Hot Dogs would put some work in on the simulator and
That guy,
help those guys out.
And
the fact that
FP1.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have a seat is mind-boggling.
I don't
honest-
understand
This is
it.
going to sound crazy to say. I love Fernando Alonso, and I'm going to get hate for this, but I actually would rather see Franco in that Aston Martin this next year than Fernando Alonso if Stroll's not there.
But
Stroll's not going anywhere.
yeah, Stroll's not going anywhere.
Exactly
We
my
have
point.
to realize that. But I'll agree with you on the fact of I think Fernando should go somewhere else.
I think. He
Do we
should.
think Fernando should just pack it up and
No.
move on to the Shady
I
Oaks
think he's
retirement
got-
home?
I think he's got 2 years left, and
Yeah,
I think he
I'd
needs to
say
call
2.
it. Because dude has been maybe the most unlucky man in the world. He's made, one good career decision for teams? One? Where it's been like, okay, maybe 2 if you want to count Ferrari a little bit. But it's like, after that Ferrari stint, where did he go?
All over
Nowhere.
the place. Yeah.
And none of them have worked out.
It's tough because it's a lot like how I still feel about Lewis of like Ferrari's got to have a heater the next like 2-3 years. And then after that, kind of feels like Lewis is out the door. So it's hard because you're planning for someone's retirement, not planning for someone's like fresh out of college.
That's where the Colapinto, I think, Beef Hot Dogs needs
I think you
that
throw him in
seat.
that Aston
It
Martin.
makes
Yeah.
more sense for them long term to have him in that seat because let's be honest, it's not like they're winning next year.
No.
So why the hell
It's
are they
going to be a 2
wasting
or
their
3 year
time?
rebuild for him.
That's what I don't understand. Why are we wasting our time with Fernando still in that seat when Fernando's a hell of a driver? Don't get me wrong, but I just think it's time to switch away with that. Let's go young, like a bunch of other teams are doing. I mean, and give Frank Colapinto the spot.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes no sense. Is Franco's probably going to be without a seat for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
At this rate, if he doesn't get one at the end of this year. And I'm like, and not to hate on anybody else, but you're talking about leaving a 45-year-old in. I mean, you have signs at Williams. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on.
It's tough. It's hard to fathom.
You know how you fix it? Add one more freaking team, man.
What a concept, man.
It's crazy to think about. You know who fought that the most? Stroll. Douchebag.
Really?
Yeah. Lawrence Stroll came out and was like, they don't need the money.
Oh, I thought you Lance Stroll. I was like, what that brother cares?
He's doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah,
right
the
now,
Nepo
man.
baby's fine.
If there is a new team, what team would you want it to be?
I'd love to, if I could choose any team, realistic, like a real one right now, I would
Yeah.
say Andretti. But if I could see an actual one that I could kind of mold myself, I'd love to see a team like Ford in there.
That'd be sick.
It would just be crazy to watch.
Dude,
Ford
Sam,
ball out on
Sam
F1.
and I saw the Ford GT the other day.
Oh,
Oh,
crazy.
those things are sick.
Dude, I hadn't seen the new one in
Awesome.
person.
Oh, it's wild.
Oh, my Lord.
Dude,
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
it was bonerific.
Jackson, what team would you want to see?
I like the Ford pick. I think Ford would be super cool. I really do. I think it'd be fun to have another American team too. Obviously you have Haas and
Like a very
but it'd
competitive
be
one.
it'd be fun to get Ford into here. I don't think like Toyota or anyone like that's
No.
going to make a run for it. It's just
The
doesn't
market
make
isn't
sense.
big enough, I
No,
don't think.
I think Ford is the only American car manufacturer that could do it. I mean, you had Jaguar was in F1
Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool.
years ago, so that could be kind
Except
of a
now
fun.
they're
a
not
fun
making
one.
cars next year. I don't know if you guys heard
Yeah.
about that.
Are they Dunzo?
No, they're just like, we're just taking a year off. They didn't say year, but they just said we're like not
But-
releasing new
anything
cars.
now.
Yeah.
I'd
Isn't
love-
it because there's like so many that they haven't sold?
There's so many, dude. There are lots. in
Just
oh.
jam
I'd
packed.
buy
In the
one for,
States,
like-
I don't know about outside of the U.S., but in the States, they're just
No one's buying.
no one's buying them
Yeah.
because they're tied to Land Rover,
Yeah.
and so many people have created this bad image of Land Rover.
They
Which,
created
like,
it themselves.
Yeah, they did, but they're tied together. They're brother sister company.
Yeah.
So people are like, fuck that. I'm not spending the money on it when you could go buy a base model Aston Martin that's going to run
A little bit longer.
a little bit longer.
tiny bit
And
longer.
you're going to, even on the base model, your package options are probably significantly nicer just because of the brand name behind it. So Jaguar is not doing well.
I
Yeah.
think y'all are skipping out on like the Honda Accord, dude. I've seen things from the '80s still on the road today. Like think about
I know
how
when
crazy
it's
that
what,
is.
2012?
And that's why Red
Yeah.
Bull uses a Honda powertrain.
Dude,
Yeah.
man.
Wild,
Beautiful.
and they're going with what they're partnering with Ford.
Yeah.
Partnering. All
Yeah.
the technical
Yeah.
What do you-
people.
Well,
that
yeah,
got
Ford,
on
I
our
think,
ass.
is research is a lot of what it is.
What would you pick?
I say fuck it. We should have a competitor Red Bull. Like let's have Monster Energy.
Oh,
It'd be
that's
fun.
so
I mean,
badass.
yeah. I mean,
Let's
think
have
about
Prime
it.
Like
out
why does it
there.
have a why does it
Hell
have to be a
no.
car
Shut
manufacturer?
your
Why can't it
face.
just
Yeah.
be a
That'd be
I mean,
crazy.
they're gonna have to partner with someone.
Yeah.
You just have like Abercrombie and Fritz and Jesus.
Yeah,
Abercrombie and
and
Fritz.
Fitch just pull
and
out of
Fritz.
nowhere.
Why? George Russell already
We're
did
getting
all
like
that shit.
We're getting delirious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign off. We get 2 back-to-back races in the Americas. Well, technically 3. Because
Yeah.
we get Brazil after. So we don't have to get up at the crack ass of dawn to watch this race.
Fucking beautiful.
Guys,
Take that, Europeans.
enjoy Mexico.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck to our boy Checo.
Yeah.
It's probably his last.
And then next week, stay tuned because we are going to do our Mexican Grand Prix Loteria card reveal.
Oh.
We're going to throw our craziest moments of the Mexican Grand Prix onto a nice Loteria card that if you were from the southwest of the United States, you know what that is. All the people from Flint, Michigan, I got nothing for you. We're signing out.
Enjoy
It's been
your
a great
water.
night.
Don't-
I am
don't
not
drink the water.
Sam.
I'm Sam.
All right.
Not
See you
Sam.
guys next week.
Later.
Coming from the bottom, now stepping on their neck. I've been working, I've been grinding. I need all of my respect. Getting dollars, yen, euros, now really cashing check. Mezzanine is on the deck, mezzanine is on the deck.